Judaism. With a history of about 4,000 years, Judaism is the oldest monotheistic religion in the world. Judaism adherents hold that there is only one God, who made himself known through the ancient prophets. Understanding the Jewish faith, which has a rich heritage of law, culture, and custom, requires knowledge of its past. Beliefs in Judaism. Jews hold that there is only one God, and that he has made a covenant, or unique arrangement, with them. Their God speaks to believers through prophets and both rewards and punishes evil behavior. With a few exceptions, the majority of Jews consider that their Messiah will eventually arrive. Rabbis are the spiritual leaders of Jews, who worship in synagogues, which are places of worship. Judaism's emblem is the six-pointed Star of David. Approximately 14 million Jews live in the globe today. They primarily reside in Israel and the United States. A person is typically regarded as Jewish if his or her mother is Jewish. Torah. The Tanakh, sometimes known as the Hebrew Bible, is the name of the Jewish holy book. The identical books that make up the Christian Old Testament are included, however they are arranged in a slightly different order. Jewish law is laid out in the Torah, which comprises the first 5 books of the Tanakh. It's also known as the Pentateuch at times. Originator of Judaism. The Torah contains explanations of Jewish religious history. The narrative claims that the founder of Judaism, a Hebrew man by the name of Abraham, was the one to whom God first revealed himself. Jews hold that Abraham and his offspring were selected individuals who would found a great nation, and that God formed a particular covenant with them. Isaac, a son of Abraham, and Jacob, a grandson of Abraham, also played significant roles in early Jewish history. Jacob adopted the name Israel, and his descendants as well as later generations came to be referred to as Israelites. After being held as slaves in Egypt for hundreds of years, the Israelites were led out by the prophet Moses more than 1,000 years after Abraham. According to the Bible, Moses received the 10 Commandments from God at Mount Sinai. Judaic temples. King David ruled the Jewish people in the year 1000 BC. The first Holy Temple was erected by his son Solomon in Jerusalem, and it served as the Jewish people's primary site of prayer. Around 931 BC, the Jewish people were divided into 2 groups: Israel in the north and Judah in the south after the collapse of the kingdom. The first temple was destroyed by the Babylonians somewhere around 587 BC, and many Jews were exiled as a result. Around 516 BC, a second temple was constructed, but it was ultimately destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. Jewish people no longer had a central location to congregate, therefore they transferred their attention to local synagogues as their major place of prayer, making the collapse of the Second Temple noteworthy. Jewish sacred texts. While many other significant manuscripts were written in succeeding centuries, the Tanakh, which contains the Torah, is still regarded as the sacred text of Judaism. These provided explanations for how the Tanakh should be understood and recorded previously unwritten oral regulations. The Mishnah, a literature that outlines and explains the Jewish code of law that was previously orally transmitted, was produced by experts around the year 200 AD. Talmud. Later, a compilation of teachings and commentary on Jewish law known as the Talmud was produced. The Mishnah and another document known as the Gemara are both included in the Talmud, which examines the Mishnah. It describes the significance of the 613 rules of Jewish law and contains the views of thousands of rabbis. Around the 3rd century AD, the Talmud's original version was completed. The second form was finished about the year 500 AD. Judaism accepts a number of additional books and commentaries. The 13 Articles of Faith, penned by Jewish scholar Maimonides, is one such. Shabbat. Jews observe Shabbat as a day of rest and prayer. It usually starts on Friday at dusk and lasts until Saturday night. Depending on the sort of Judaism that a Jewish family practices, there are various ways to observe Shabbat. Jews who follow the Orthodox and conservative traditions, for instance, are not allowed to engage in any physical labor, use any electricity, or engage in any other forbidden behavior. The majority of religious Jews observe Shabbat by reading or talking about the Torah, going to synagogue, or interacting with other Jews over Shabbat meals. Judaism and violence. Jews have endured persecution throughout history due to their religious convictions. Several well-known occasions include Massacre of Granada in 1066. On December 30, 1066, a Muslim mob seized control of the Granada royal palace and massacred more than 1,000 Jewish families. The mob also took the Jewish vizier to the Berber monarch, Joseph ibn Negrella, and crucified him. The First Crusade saw the deaths of thousands of Jews and the forcible conversion of countless others to Christianity. The Crusades were a series of medieval holy battles between Christians and Muslims. The Spanish expulsion. In 1492, the King of Spain issued a royal edict ordering the expulsion of all Jews who refused to convert to Christianity. According to experts, 200,000 people were expelled, and tens of thousands of them died trying to get to safety. The Holocaust. The Nazis slaughtered more than 6 million Jews during the Holocaust, the most notorious of modern tragedies. Israel's creation. Many Jews returned to their homeland, in the Middle Eastern country of Palestine, during and after the Holocaust and supported Zionism, a movement for the establishment of a Jewish state that developed in 19th-century Europe. Israel formally attained independence in 1948. One of the foremost advocates for a Jewish nation-state, David Ben-Gurion, was granted the position of prime minister. The Jewish people, who had fought tenaciously for an independent state in their homeland, saw this as a victory. However, since Israel became a state, tensions between Jews and Arabs residing in Palestine have been worse and are still present today. Various Judaisms. Judaism has a number of sects, some of which are Orthodox Judaism. Orthodox Jews are distinguished by their stringent observance of Jewish customs and law. For instance, most people agree that working, driving, or managing money shouldn't be done on Shabbat. Hasidic Jews are one of the many sects that make up the diverse religious movement known as Orthodox Judaism. This branch of Judaism originated in Eastern Europe in the 18th century and adheres to principles other than those of conventional or ultra-Orthodox Judaism. The mystical encounter with God that entails intimate communion through prayer and worship is emphasized by Hasidic Jews. A well-known Hasidic, Orthodox Jewish movement is Chabad. Judaism in reform. Judaism is seen as a liberal branch of religion that places a higher priority on ethical practices than on the rigorous following of Jewish law. Followers encourage adaptation and forward-thinking ideas. The majority of Jews in the United States practice Reform Judaism. Conservative Judaism. This branch of Judaism is sometimes viewed as falling between Orthodox and Reform Judaism. Conservative Jews typically respect Jewish tradition while allowing for some modernization. Reconstructionist Judaism. Mordecai Kaplan established the Society for the Advancement of Judaism in 1922, which is when Reconstructionism first emerged. This group thinks that Judaism is a continuously developing religious civilization. Rabbi Sherwin Wine established the humanistic branch of Judaism in 1963. Humanistic Jews honor Jewish tradition and history without placing a strong focus on God. Judaism has several different denominations, although many Jews just refer to themselves as Jews without identifying with any particular category. Jewish festivals. Jewish people commemorate a number of significant historical dates and occasions, including Passover. This 7- or 8-day festival commemorates the liberation of the Jews from Egyptian slavery. Passover specifically relates to the biblical account of a plague that is claimed to have killed all other firstborn babies in Egypt. But the Hebrew God passed over the homes of Jewish families and preserved their children. Rosh Hashanah. During this festival, also referred to as the Jewish New Year, Jews commemorate the creation of the cosmos and humanity. Yom Kippur. The Jewish people regard this Day of Atonement to be the holiest day of the year, and they traditionally observe it by fasting and prayer. The high holidays, also known as the Days of Awe or Yamim Noraim, are the 10 days that begin with Rosh Hashanah and end with Yom Kippur. Jewish Jews view the high holy days as a time of repentance. Hanukkah. This 8-day Jewish holiday is sometimes referred to as the Festival of Lights. Hanukkah honors the rededication of the Jewish temple in Jerusalem following the Maccabees' victory over the Syrian Greeks more than 2,000 years ago. Purim. The happy holiday of Purim commemorates the moment when the Jews of Persia were spared from annihilation. Viewers, your comments are very important to us. How did you like the video? Please let us know your opinion, and if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can be aware of our upcoming videos.